backpacking across the Portuguese island of Madeira. There is an island in the Atlantic Ocean just off the coast of northwest Africa. First discovered in the 1400s, it was known to be a mystical place. With its lush green forests, semi-tropical climate and deep blue waters, it made for an ideal place to settle. This is where I come in. I'm Liam, by the way. I'll be making Madeira my home for the next few days. Not as you'd expect though. I'll be crossing the island from west to east, hiking over 85 miles on mountain trails alongside huge cliffs and getting lost in cloud forests. I'll be sleeping alongside nature in my tent, and everything I need is in my pack. If I'm being honest with myself, the only time I'm truly happy is when I'm adventuring like this. I live in the moment. I concentrate on each footstep. I listen to the birds singing, or I'm looking for the next water source. It's like being transported back in time a few thousand years. It's a simple life, but for me, it really is the best kind of life. So, Madeira, here I come. Sometimes I wish I could skip travel days and get straight to the destination. Luckily, we can do that right here. I made my way in a taxi to the start point of this adventure, right on the northwest tip of Madeira, Portuguese. It was a subtropical paradise with vibrant palm trees contrasting against the blue of the ocean. The hills in the distance seemed to look directly at me.
I've just come from all the way down there. Steep one. There's winding hills. Already beautiful. Got a nice blue ocean. And a rugged coastline, but I'm heading into the hills. I'm going to cross the whole of the island and finish in the east on the opposite side on the coast. I've got about an hour left of sunlight, so I'm going to keep heading up. Got a bit of a swell, but it's all good. I'm going to set up, get something to eat, get my head down, and then we start properly tomorrow.
There was a concrete walkway which made for some easy walking. I passed through some of the most lush and colourful farms I'd ever seen. Steps took me down towards the bottom of the valley. I had a look on Google and I found there to be a campsite close by. I couldn't believe my luck. I mean, how could I say no to flat ground? I pitched my tent and got an early night so I'd be ready for tomorrow.
So I can't really believe what happened. I had all my tents set up, I was inside just eating some food at the campsite, and a guy told me that I couldn't stay there. He didn't really speak English, but I kind of got a gist, so I had to move on. And yeah, I was screwed. It's just pitch black. I'm trying to keep down, and just obviously it's white light, but yeah, I'm in like the middle of a neighbourhood. It's like a child's what am I doing? Child's playground. It's flat ground. It's the only flat ground because it's just hill all the way up. So I'm gonna stay here tonight, get up just before sunrise and get going for the day. But yeah, I really didn't think I'd be staying in a child's playground at the start of today.
Well, that was a first and hopefully a last. I came across a fountain, so I filled up my water bottles. It was actually pretty chilly this early in the morning. At least I'd warm up with all these steps. The sun started to peek over the hills and I got a glimpse of where I stayed last night. It was super quiet. It was just me and the birds this early in the morning.
There is the sunrise. So hazy. Ah, it's amazing.
The trail took me through a forest. I'd follow the trails used by animals, and I'd cross dried up streams and riverbeds. This place really was alive.
You know, I'm so happy I had to get up early. It's just a different feel to it when you get up early. It's just, I can't explain it. It just feels right. I've got to like the top of the hills, I think, hopefully. But it was a massive incline coming out of the little town. And the sun is just poking through the forest right now. So I'm going to stand there for a few minutes and just soak it up. Because it's nice. Can't speak. This water out of the fountain tastes way better than the bottled stuff. So I think I might ditch the bottled water and just fill it from the little taps. Lots of incline today, lots. So my leg's gonna be feeling it. But I just walked past a camp, just tables, a fountain. So if I kept walking like a mile from where I got moved on from, I would have found the perfect camp spot, but it doesn't matter. It always happens. Yeah, I'm feeling at peace already. And it's only like the second day in. Madeira is just mystical. It's strange. In the hills.
Through clearings in the forest, I'd get a panorama of the area. The views were something else. There was barely a cloud in sight. The sun mixed with the mountain air was a perfect cocktail.
Got horns. There's a load of them. Okay.
When I think of Madeira, it's the cliffs with the ocean surf that springs to mind. I was hungry and I spotted a town down below, so that's where I headed. I found wherever there was a town or a settlement, there would be farmland just above it, terraced into the hills. Madeira had a different vibe to it compared to most places. It was so relaxed. I got a beer with a big meal, just what the doctor ordered. The colourful houses are way better than what we build back home. We could learn a thing or two actually.
What?
It was time to head back into the hills.
Hello. Oh, it's gone. Oh. I thought I was going to make a friend then.
The shade was a welcome relief from all the midday sun.
So that is about 3,500 feet done. About an hour and a half, and I am done. The views are worth it. All the way down to the coast, but it's a killer. It's just nice to see open, flat ground. It's been just constant up and down stairs. You can see I'm just sweating so bad. I stopped halfway and just had to take an electrolyte tablet because I probably lost about 2 litres of sweat. I've just come past this though, a little cave. It's probably like the perfect size for a tent. And it's about 4 p.m, so shall I stop? I've been going since 7 this morning. Sun is shining on. Amazing view of the ocean and the hills. Decisions. Pretty good decision to have though, isn't it?
I decided to push on for a few more miles, and I'm glad I did. I found a clearing in the forest with some flat ground. This will be camp for the night.
I'm this high up and I just found a ladybird on my pack. Who would have thought?
When I get a chance to sleep above the clouds, I take it. I woke up to the patter of rain on the tent. It's the best way to wake up for me. I got my waterproofs on and I was ready for what Madeira was about to throw at me. It was the fine rain, the one that gets you absolutely drenched.
This is what Madeira is known for, just the cloud and just the moisture, especially up top. It's so silent. You can hear a few birds every now and again.
Even with all this rain, I was pretty low on water.
I can hear running water. Yes. That is beautiful. What a sight. It's kind of eerie, that forest. Okay, I'm gonna fill my bottles up. I think this will be fine just to drink straight. That's better. It tastes so good as well. This just gives you life. Like, water back home, that's just dead water. This, you can just feel it giving you energy. This forest is the best smelling forest I've ever been in. Oh, it's so sweet. Think of the smell of a pine tree, but times it by 100. It's good.
The edge of the cliffs can be very deceiving in the cloud. I'm pretty sure that drop went all the way to the bottom. Now I know why the first settlers gave this island its name, Madeira. It means wood in Portuguese. There's lots of it for sure. I'd passed through tunnels like this that have been cut into the mountain. It sure made it easier than going over the top.
I've never been anywhere so humid. It is so wet. Everything's really green and lush. And I've just come down from up there. heading along a nice little trail, going through some tunnels every now and again. And there's just the kind of the water flow just right next to the path. I think it's called a lavada. And yeah, I'm hoping to get out the clouds soon and get some sun. I haven't seen it all day.
With the cloud being so thick, I was in a world of my own for what seemed like hours at a time. All you can do is concentrate on each step. It's like you're in a human-sized bubble with no contact to the outside world.
You know that saying of there's light at the end of the tunnel? Now I get it.
I could follow the waterways called lavadas. These actually transport water all over Madeira. Sometimes after steep inclines, I'd stop and have a rest, drinking water I'd taken from streams high up in the mountains. I felt a little bit more connected to nature this way.
I can see the blue of the ocean just coming through the clouds. Please just go. A little village or town there. Oh, it's such a nice sight. It grates on you being in the clouds all day. It makes you grateful for the sun, that's for sure. That is nice. First sun of the day, and it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. You can see the ocean all the way out there. I'm just hoping it stays like this. Oh, it's amazing.
There's nothing more primitive than taking in the sun. I dried all of my gear out. It didn't take long. I continued walking until the evening.
So I've found a really good spot tonight for camp, and I'll show you. So I'm heading this way in the morning to the highest point on the island. So I head that way. Just been admiring the view. You got some of the wind coming over and it's just bringing the clouds, you can see it. And that way is where I've just come from.
After doing all of these miles in the hills, I go to bed tired, but very satisfied. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. The sun woke me up early. It's the only time I don't mind being woken up. Walking along the mountain passes, I could see some of the highest peaks on the island in the distance. I'd fill up whenever I could. Up here in the mountains, water is worth its weight in gold. I'd usually stop mid-morning and take in the view.
This weather is so different from yesterday. I'm loving it. It's I'd say it's about 20 degrees Celsius right now. Sun's almost directly overhead. I think it's about 11 a.m. Seen quite a few hikers, which means there must be a car park close by, which means there's a water tap, hopefully some benches, maybe even a cafe if I'm lucky. That's all hopeful though. May not be. This could be really remote.
This is Pico Ruivo, the highest peak in Madeira. I had a view of the whole island, all of those peaks and valleys I'd just come over. To my surprise, there was a cafe near the top.
I got myself 2 beers and an espresso, so I'm feeling a bit drunk. This mountain air, it just gets you. And to top it off, I'm just going along mountain passes. I better watch my step. I'm just like, ooh. So, fill my waters up, got a bit of food. And there's about 30 miles left. It's probably about 2.5 days in this terrain. Weather's brilliant. Just perfect. At 20 degrees Celsius. Not many clouds in the sky. Not where I am anyway. Hello, mate. That's a rare bird. What's it doing up here? Oh no. Gotta go up there. Come on, let's go.
Being so high up, there was a space observatory which was pretty cool to walk past.
Leaving the busy car park and top of the mountain and heading over and down the hills.
I started to descend into the clouds.
What is this place? Looks like a proper campsite. Ooh. Shall I stop? There's a flat spot there. I got a leaning tree. Nah. And there's like a... Nah. That's dangerous. Tempting, but dangerous.
It was getting late into the evening, so I looked for a camp. I found a small forest. It was nothing special, but it worked. I woke up very fatigued. My legs were so heavy, but the sounds of the forest put a smile on my face.
I'm just making my way through the forest, and I'm pretty high up, but it's the first view I've got. It's a pretty good one. I wonder where that'll end up. Hopefully in the sea somewhere.
There were some huge cliffs. The trail seemed to hug them for this part of the walk. I reached some farmland, which meant I was close to civilization. I needed some supplies, so I was hoping for a store. I managed to get everything I needed, along with a local beer, Coral. Oh, it was good.
I'll be going for the final push tomorrow, I've decided. It's about 6 p.m. Got about 45 minutes left of sunlight. And I'm just heading into the hills after having a beer, which was nice. So I'll just get a simple camp going, wake up pretty early and then head to the coast tomorrow and hopefully get to the ocean. It's really nice. It's cloudy, but the sun's just shining through the clouds, so it creates this kind of, it's a pretty nice atmosphere. There are lots of terrace gardens I'm walking through right now just to get out of the little town, and so many crops, bananas. I even seen a fig tree, I think it was. It wasn't ripe, otherwise I would have took some, not gonna lie. But Madeira is one of these places that it's just great. There's never a dull moment.
I tried to get the miles in before the sun went down. So in the morning, I'd only have to take a couple-mile walk to the finish point. The wind had started to whip across this part of the island. I made sure to find a good place to camp for the final night.
I've finally got my spot and it's a pretty good one. So I've just walked until sunset. I think the sun has just set actually, so I'm not too far away from the cliffs. Madeira is someplace.
I set off with a spring in my step, knowing the finish line was in sight. It was quite literally a stone's throw away.
I'm just making my way down all of this volcanic rock, and if there's ever a place on Earth that looks like Mars, this is it. You could probably use this for a set on the movies.
I got to the outskirts of the town and I took it all in.
Finally made it to a little town called Canhaçal on the northeastern coast of Madeira. This is my endpoint, and man, I am glad to make it here. I am beat. That was seriously underrated. I didn't expect it to be that hard. Yeah, the first couple of days got me. So I'm gonna take a seat on these steps and just enjoy the sound of the ocean. Madeira is crazy. It's ever changing. That's all I can describe it. It's just rainforest, desert, high mountain passes, deep ravines, lots of water, cloud forests. I mean, I can go on. It's a good place, a really good place. It's, I'm gonna look for a cafe, sit down, and just enjoy myself now. I need it. Madeira, it was fun.